Hello and welcome to our cybersecurity webinar. Our hosts today are Andrew Milroy from Ovum. He is the head of Advisory Services for APAC, and joining him will be our very own consulting engineer from Juniper Networks, Harry Toolseram. They will be covering key topics on how organizations are prioritizing their digital transformation agenda, common cybersecurity concerns enterprises are facing today, and a snapshot of what Juniper Connected Security can do to keep these concerns at bay. Sit back, relax, and enjoy what's in store.
Cybersecurity is headline news today. Successful cyber attacks are having an increasingly profound effect on businesses, societies, and economies. Malicious actors are engaging in cybercrime not only for personal gain, but also for much broader economic and political objectives. For example, state actors are now using cyber attacks to undermine elections in order to achieve their desired political outcomes. Ovum research reveals that more than 80% of organizations in Asia are not protected against today's threats. Many of them depend on security investments made years ago, which cannot defend against new and emerging threats. The arrival of new technologies, such as cloud computing, the Internet of Things, mobility, bring your own device, and social media, have massively increased attack surfaces and expanded the threat landscape. Over the past 2 years, there has been a global infestation of ransomware attacks that have caused destruction across a growing number of businesses. Cryptojacking, attacks on critical infrastructure, and data exfiltration are now commonly affecting businesses and consumers alike. The financial impact of these attacks is increasing rapidly and has already cost some organizations hundreds of millions of dollars. For example, in 2017, shipping firm Maersk estimated that the cost of dealing with the NotPetya ransomware attack was between $200 and $300 million. For the first time in Ovum's surveys, CIOs are prioritizing building digital capability. This encompasses all technologies. CIOs are increasingly taking a top-down, holistic approach to technology implementation, rather than looking at individual technologies such as cloud computing and building from the bottom up. They are now looking at overall desired outcomes, such as creating an omni-channel approach to customer engagement or even growing the business, and then selecting technologies that enable these outcomes. The biggest issue for CIOs in the individual technology areas is still cybersecurity. This slide shows that companies are prioritizing risk management and cybersecurity in their digital transformation journeys. It is now the key consideration for many. Increasing use of new technologies and new connected form factors is creating new cybersecurity challenges. Enterprises need to make sure that their cybersecurity posture shifts in line with new technology adoption. This means that their solutions can address the new threats posed by new technologies, as well as existing threats. I'll now spend a few minutes talking about emerging technologies and their associated cybersecurity implications. From a cloud perspective, enterprises typically have hybrid multi-cloud environments encompassing private clouds, public clouds, and on-premise technology. This makes protection from cyber threats more complex. Often, cybersecurity solutions do not give enterprises a holistic, unified view of all the cloud technology that they use. Instead, they often have multiple cloud security solutions that are not integrated. An integrated and unified view is required. As enterprises increasingly use customer data intensively to add value, the damage caused by data breaches and data leakage grows exponentially. Added to this is the proliferation of endpoints that need to be secured. The perimeter, or the edge of the enterprise, is shifting, and in many cases, it is becoming blurred. Traditional approaches to cybersecurity are being reviewed in line with new definitions of the perimeter. Increasingly, the perimeter is being equated with individuals and tools that authenticate their identity and access. Internet of Things implementations create a variety of new cybersecurity challenges. The digitalization of the physical world is massively expanding the threat landscape. Each thing that is digitized offers an additional entry point for malicious actors. Critical infrastructure in industries such as automotive, aviation, shipping, and any other machinery that is being connected to the internet is now vulnerable to cyber attack. Too often, securing IoT technology is an afterthought. This cannot continue, as the impact of successful attacks increases. IoT security must be the top consideration during any IoT implementation. Ultimately, there is a need for a connected approach to cybersecurity, which Ovum research indicates is not happening. Enterprises need a view of all assets and all points of vulnerability. An Ovum research study, sponsored by Juniper Networks, shows that over 50% of Asia-Pacific organizations are using more than 10 security tools simultaneously. Existing tools cannot always detect new and emerging threats, and deploying brand new security solutions is not always the answer. Over time, the deployment of new security tools create an estate of siloed security products, each reporting to its own dashboard. This is a major management challenge, and there is frequently no provision for the centralization of security alerts, and analysts face the challenge of monitoring multiple consoles and cross-referencing between disparate screens and information formats. Equally, applying security policy changes is a laborious and time-consuming task. In a multi-dashboard environment, this represents a security threat in its own right. Another common operational problem for security teams around the world is that as the number and variety of threats mushroom, teams are receiving too many alerts, making it all but impossible to respond appropriately to the ones that matter. It is quite common to find financial services organizations, for instance, dealing with hundreds of thousands of alerts every day. Worse still, many of the alerts received are not related to legitimate threats, almost like fire alarms being triggered when there is no fire. This creates alert fatigue, and sometimes can impact the sense of urgency applied to real, legitimate threats. It is essential that organizations ensure that their cybersecurity postures can adapt to the changing threat environment. While attackers use automated polymorphic malware, leaked exploits, and stolen data to bypass security, Security Operations Center teams struggle with too much data and tools that do not speak to each other. The complexity of managing across different silos consumes scarce resources, which could be used much more effectively. Solutions that can adapt to evolving threats and offer a unified view of the threat environment are required. To conclude Ovum's insights, I'll finish with some recommendations for enterprises. Firstly, do not look at new technologies in isolation. They are all connected. Ensure that your cybersecurity posture reflects the connected nature of your technologies. Cloud, IoT, big data, and mobility are redefining the network perimeter. Ensure that your cybersecurity posture can adapt to a moving network perimeter and wider adoption of new technologies. Security tool proliferation is creating alert fatigue and a siloed view of assets. Take a unified and connected view of securing your assets for greater cyber resilience. Adopt cybersecurity solutions that protect connected assets and the moving network perimeter.
As you have heard, there's never a boring day in security. For the next 10 minutes, I will share Juniper Networks' security portfolio. Let's start with the importance of collaboration and teamwork. We all know this, and we all know how powerful it can be. Imagine if all factory employees collaborate and put work safety at the top of their list. That factory will probably have one of the best work safety records. Very much in the same vein, Juniper Connected Security is about collaboration. A collaboration of advanced threat prevention or ATP services and detection and enforcement points consisting of distributed next generation firewalls and distributed network elements such as multi-vendor access points, wireless LAN controllers, switches, and routers. This represents the ultimate example of security teamwork in ensuring end-to-end security. Let's begin with a look at our security portfolio. At the foundation of it all are our next generation firewalls, the SRX. SRX stands for Security, Routing, and Switching, a next generation firewall with full routing and switching capabilities. At the entry level of the range is our SRX 300 series, and at the very top is our SRX 5000 series, which are used by telcos and service providers. They have firewall muscle to meet terabit requirements of typical 5G deployments. The branch SRX models support SD-WAN, bringing SD-WAN, security, routing, and switching together in a nice little package. SRX are all appliance-based, but we do have a virtual machine equivalent called VSRX and a container equivalent called CSRX, which are excellent for cloud-based multi-segment and multi-services protection. On the top row are some security management tools such as Security Director and Juniper Sky Enterprise, which are respectively on-premise and cloud-based SRX provisioning and management tools. Secure Analytics for security information and event management, Juniper Sky Advanced Threat Prevention, and Juniper ATP, which are respectively cloud-based and on-premise appliance-based ATP solutions. They form the cornerstone of our connected security solution. Just imagine a shopping mall where the security manager has security guards at all entrances. The guards have their own SOP. But if one of them detects a suspicious visitor and unsure what needs to be done, it gets referred to the security manager. The security manager then interviews and does a background check. He also analyzes the visitor in question and makes a decision as to whether to allow or disallow the visitor into the mall. This decision and corresponding security information is immediately sent to all the guards at all entrances. Therefore, the next time a similar situation occurs, the guards would already know how to handle the situation independently. To further enhance security, shop owners and mall employees are also updated with this decision and security information, making them all added points of enforcement.
This is security that learns and adapts, and is pretty much the story of Sky ATP, which is our cloud-based advanced threat prevention service. Next generation firewalls do what next generation firewalls do, but when a single firewall detects something suspicious, a copy is sent to the Juniper Sky ATP, where it is sandboxed, probed, analyzed, and classified. The decision to allow or block via corresponding security policy are sent and updated on all firewalls. I repeat, all firewalls. One detects, all get updated. And that includes other network elements such as access points, wireless LAN controllers, switches, and routers, where additional actions like blacklist, disable interface, quarantine terminate session can be carried out. Juniper Sky ATP is cloud-based, while for those who are not comfortable with cloud-based security solutions can opt for Juniper ATP, which is an on-premise appliance-based solution.
Here are the test results of Juniper Sky ATP from ICSA Labs. And I quote, Juniper Sky ATP did remarkably well, detecting 99.2% of previously unknown threats. Now, being able to detect 99.2% of unknown threats is definitely a big deal in the security world. So, for end-to-end security, add a sprinkle of Juniper ATP services, add a few tablespoons of collaboration and teamwork, and what used to be impossible is now possible. So that's Juniper Connected Security, securing networks today, the smart and effective way.
I'm glad you stuck around till the end. I hope you enjoyed the insights provided by Andrew and Harry. Feel free to rate or comment on this webinar via the options below. If you know someone who might benefit from this webinar, do share via the social icons below. Thank you for watching.